Welcome to Taste the Mango, and in this video we're going to do a real-time exploration into a key question for non-duality. And the question for today's video is, what is it that is essential about our true nature? What is it that is there eternally, consistently, and universally? So, Katrijn, anything you want to say before we start doing the inquiry?
Yeah, so this is often when people first hear about non-duality, it's all about either awareness or true self, true nature. So there are various words or names for this that are used very frequently. And the problem with all these names, which is what we're going to explore today, is that they create the idea or the feeling that we're talking about an object or a thing that is somehow far away from us. So it's something that awareness is something that I have to get to. And in this exploration, we want to see, just as the two of us go through it, that it's actually much, much simpler.
Yes. So as usual, we're going to do it both ways around. So first of all, Katrijn will ask me some questions, and then we'll reverse that. And we'll be using the direct inquiry process, which we won't go into now, but we've got other videos about that, so that we can explore these very fundamental questions. So whenever you're ready, we shall start.
Yeah, so the very most basic question, and it sounds really obvious, but really try to ask yourself this, is right now, are you alive?
Yes.
Yes, you have to answer yes. So you know this sense of pure aliveness. And now even people who maybe in their heads are answering, I'm not sure, I don't know if I'm alive, and go off into thinking about it. Even to say, I don't know I'm alive, you have to be alive to say that, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we kind of automatically, and you just now recognized this sense of being alive. That's what we're referring to when we use the word awareness, for example.
Yes.
So this sense of being alive, is it ever not there?
No, the sense of whatever you want to call it, aliveness, is always there, regardless. Yeah.
Yes.
I could question when I'm in deep sleep whether I have
Right.
a recognition of it, but
Right. Well, let's go to deep sleep because that's one that immediately comes up. Am I alive in deep sleep? Is there a sense of aliveness in deep sleep? Well, what happens when we wake you up from deep sleep? Do you reappear? I mean, what wakes up? Was that dead and now alive again?
no. I mean, it depends what you mean by dead and alive, but when I wake up, I have a different perception of what is going on, but it's not I wasn't recreated in that moment. There was something, there's a knowing of something there before. It
Yes.
changes on the screen of perception, but there's still continuity. There's still continuity.
Yeah. And so when the alarm goes off and you come out of deep sleep, we don't feel like we just became alive again. No, we know on a certain level that we were in deep sleep and now we're awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is really important because it means that even when there is no experience at all, right, nothing for attention to focus on, like now we're focusing on this video, even in deep sleep where there is no content, there is still aliveness.
Yes. Yes. There is that aliveness, that awareness, we're going to call it, is completely continuous. It changes in its form and it's very active. Lots of thoughts and perceptions bouncing around the place. And sometimes it's very quiet and still. And in deep sleep, it's there's none of it, the activity, but there's still absolutely a sense of being or awareness that's continuous.
So no matter what is going on, and you can check this, right? Just going, I don't know, back through the past couple of hours, maybe, whatever is going on in experience, the sense of aliveness is there experiencing it.
Yeah. There's something that's there that's aware of what's I'm thinking, perceiving, and feeling.
Yes. Although your attention, and we
Mm.
have a video on this as well, right? Between the difference between awareness and attention, your attention might be completely absorbed by what's going on, by thinking, feeling, and yet there is something that is aware of that all the time, or you wouldn't be experiencing anything. You'd be dead.
And most of the time, apart from the fact that in my work I'm probably a bit less than normal, but most of the time I'm not noticing at all the thing that is there before the content. I'm just not. It's merged in, it's blurred in. And when you ask me the question that you just did, I can see it,
Yes.
recognize it, should I say?
So that's another crucial thing that this video hopefully shows, that we're not talking about putting your attention on aliveness or awareness. I mean, that's the way to rediscover it, that it's already here. But this is not about spending your days with your attention focused on your awareness, which would just give you a headache, I assume.
Yeah, and it's the reason it would give me a headache is you can't really. It's hard to put attention on it because by putting attention on it, I'm almost putting attention on but the thing attending.
Yeah.
And the thing that will be giving the attention is actually not it. So it's a dissolve for me. It's more dissolving or a loosening of attention. It's the absence of attention on all the thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and it sort of then appears. It was always there, but it appears more for a dissolution of attention on other things rather than an attention on it, if that
Yeah,
distinction makes sense.
it does. And we can try that right now. So
Mm.
if we just, the attention that is currently, or the awareness, the attention that is currently focused on this video, if we allow that to be free, so to unhook it from whatever the objects are, the screen, the sounds, and we don't have to make them disappear. This is not about, making experiences, but just what is aware, your attention of all of this, to let it unfocus, unhook. You unhook your attention and let it be free.
Yeah. And when I do that, there's a softening, a loosening of my attention. I recognize there is still perception and sensation, but what comes further into being or awareness is and these are just words that are really clumsy, a wider, more expansiveness that is
Spacious.
everything, that is
Mm-hmm.
everything. And there's a slight shift in sensation too, which is just a widening, a lightening, an expansiveness, an ease, maybe even the capacity or the space of the awareness becomes more there rather than what's going on in it.
Yes. So it's unfocusing from the content and more of an a sense of what is aware of the content.
Right.
And that's not something we have to create, right? It's not
No.
like to make it happen. It's just already there.
Yeah, it's certainly there, but it becomes more prominent by the fact that the other stuff
Receive.
becomes
Yeah.
less prominent.
Yeah, it's sort of like a background foreground
Yeah,
thing,
it's a
although that is
background
the
foreground thing.
location. It's not, without
Yeah,
location.
yeah.
So in the whole being aware of awareness is, one way of that it's often languaged. That's not really what it is. It's more just what we did right now, recognizing the background aliveness that's always already there and aware of everything that's going on, even deep sleep.
Yeah. And I think deep sleep is one of the most fascinating because you can't do it in deep sleep, right? So right now, when you ask me, I can do it. Well, it appears to me I can do it, right? Because I can
Yeah.
move my attention because I think the waking me can do it, which is fine. But I think the recognition you get when we think about deep sleep is great because it takes it to another level of that, because
Yeah.
you can't do that because you're asleep. But there is still a knowing, there's still a sensing.
Yeah.
Not
So,
during the deep sleep, of course, because there's no one there to have that recollection, but there still is a deeper knowing.
and this might come up as well. It's really confusing to the mind because it has no content. So it's not even something we can think about or to talk about it now. But again, that makes it into a thing or something that can have qualities or be concrete. And it's really just kind of before all that, or what all of that, appears within. And that's all horrible language, but it's trying to point to something that is empty of qualities. And that makes it, the mind finds that very difficult. But as we saw just now, it's very easy, very simple to recognize because it's already there.
And I think it's so even for us that do this a fair bit most days, it's still quite fleeting. Because very quickly the mind will dart to a piece of activity, a thinking, a perception, or a sensation. And I think the real lovely thing to know is just because it appears fleeting doesn't mean it is, because it's just it's always there.
Yes.
There's a lovely recognition in that. So even I just go there for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds I'm having a thought about the video. Doesn't matter because it doesn't it doesn't make it it doesn't depower it by the fact that I'm not paying attention to it. It's
Yeah.
still there.
If not, you wouldn't be alive.
Yeah. So it's taken care of, and it's so ordinarily there. It's so fundamentally, essentially, ordinarily there that we don't always see it.
Yeah.
Yes. And all the implications of why that might be a useful recognition and realization, we won't get into on this video in full details. We've got other videos about the relevance of this. But there is, even in the fleeting noticing, a little glimpse of what that is, of the relevance of why we're saying this is such an important fundamental realization. Because there is something, when we do recognize it's what we always are, there is something very nourishing and peaceful and expansive and liberating about that recognition. So, Katrijn, let me ask you now, just to inquire into what is there eternally, consistently, universally, always for any of us. So right now in this moment, you might well be noticing some perceptions of our video or some thoughts about what's going on, and there'd be some feeling or something going on, even of the room around you and something like that. And that will be slightly changing, coming and going. And there's also part of you that doesn't come and go. And are you in this very moment able to notice what it is that isn't coming and going, that is always there, rather than a thought, a perception, or sensation? Is anything you can tell in your experience right now?
Well, I'd say it's just a sense of being present, of being here. Yeah, presence.
Presence. And if you were to notice that presence, do you make a differentiation between that presence and the things that come and go, as in thoughts, feelings, perceptions?
No, it seems like one big mass of of input, I guess.
So where does the input look like it's coming from?
From out here. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing things, I'm sensing things, and um, I'm aware of the room and of, yeah, internal and external sensations. And
So there's a coming and going of all of that?
well, yeah, there seems to be, I mean, some things are more constant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, essentially it's all coming and going.
And is there anything that doesn't appear to come and go?
Um, I don't know.
So how would you know? How do you know there's things coming and going even?
Well, I perceive them,
Okay.
right? So I perceive um, you appearing on this call starting, you appearing on the screen. When we hang up, you will leave. So the perception of you comes and goes, for example, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of that.
And you're aware of that perception coming and going.
Yeah.
And just go to the bit that does the awareing for a moment, rather than the perception of me or of a thought or of a sensation. If you allow that to come to the foreground, what do you notice? Or what is appearing and noticing?
I'm noticing very little, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There doesn't seem to be anything there to notice.
Right. And now move, or now allow attention to go back to the coming and going.
Yeah, that's easier.
That's easier. So there's a coming and going, and then there's the awareness of that, the awareing, if I can use that word.
Mhm.
And just if it's available, just dance between the two, Amo. Just dance between the two. Can you sort of demerge them? Can you sort of unhook the thing that's awareing, the thing that's doing the awareness, and the coming and going?
Yeah, maybe like really briefly, just an instance where there's like oh, that, okay, and then it goes back to your face on the screen.
Mm. And the thing that's awareness, is it still there even when you're focusing on my face or the screen or the sound?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's mostly just all mixed up together.
Right. And that thing that's doing the awareness, that aliveness, would it ever not be there?
Ever not be there. Um, I don't think so.
Does it ever change?
Um, no, I don't think so. If I look at what changes, it's the experiences that change.
Okay. So what is the most continuous, essential, fundamental thing about being alive?
Yeah, I guess we
From direct experience now, from just direct experience, without knowing anything you've learned, just from if you were literally dropped into this body mind in this moment and you played around in experiencing, what would you say?
about what is,
The most fundamental, essential thing about being alive, consistent thing about being alive.
yeah, just the being here.
Hmm. Just being here.
Yeah.
And is that being here anything to do with a particular thought, perception, or feeling?
Doesn't seem to be, no. It's
Mm.
just,
And does the idea of Katrijn ever come into that, into the just being here bit?
um, well, yeah, I mean, the thoughts come
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
I do this, I do that, I see this, I see that.
But is that I do this, I, Katrijn, thought part of what you called the being here or the thought, perceptual sensation?
No, that's a thought
Right.
or yeah, a feeling sometimes.
So the just being here is, from direct experience, the most fundamental, consistent, essential thing about being alive.
Yes, but it seems completely empty
Okay. Yeah.
or um transparent.
Mm-hmm. Right. Transparent. Just say
Like,
more about transparent.
yeah, like it's not, there's nothing to grasp, you know,
Mm.
because I noticed when you said being here again, it's like this it feels almost like grabbing into a cloud or something, or trying to,
Mm.
you know, I tried yeah, I tried to think being here, and then there's nothing,
Yeah.
it stops making sense.
So there's a knowing of a nothing. There's knowing of a something you can't grasp. So that there is a recognition or knowing. There's a recognition or an awareness of a being here, but it doesn't have any substance.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
That would all get manufactured or created in a thought appearing in it, or a feeling in it.
Yeah, it's not even a feeling.
Mm.
I maybe like a sense,
Mm.
sense of being present or being
Mm.
here. But I wouldn't really know how to describe that.
Right. But it is distinct from a feeling or a thought or a perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at one level, they're all together, merged. And at one level, they're the being alive bit, being here is distinct from it. Both distinct and intimate. And that's you said that's always there. And is there anything extraordinary or sensational about that just being?
No, it's I mean the word that keeps coming up is empty.
Mm.
Um, yeah. I mean, I'm obviously here.
Mm.
It seems quite obvious that I am, but that I am doesn't have any content.
Right. So if you were talking to the alien and they say, "What are you?" Essentially, fundamentally, you would answer just I'm just here, empty here.
Yeah, some kind of transparent, empty
Mm.
presence that, yeah,
And that's just always there. Simply and ordinary.
yeah.
If you want to know more about direct inquiry exploration or about Taste the Mango in general, or just have any questions, please do reach out and drop us a line. And all the details will be in the description of the video.